I've been wanting to talk about my library for a while, so let's talk about it. G'day to all you lovely people and welcome back to my channel. I'm Kathy and today I want to talk about my library of books or my collection of books. I've been wanting to talk more about my library since I did my Why I Love Books video, where I discussed how I started collecting books. And I recently saw a few videos where people were doing a tag on their personal libraries, and I decided I would do it as well. So my thanks goes to Shelly Swearingen, who started this tag, and I'll put her details in my description box below, together with the Why I Love Books video that I only brought out a few weeks ago. I think there are around 10 or 11 questions, so let's get started. The first one is, do you have some books around or do you think of yourself as having a collection or personal library? Yeah, I think that's self-evident. I would say that I have a personal library or collection of books, though I also do have some books lying around because I always do. Yeah, I think it's gone way beyond just a few books lying around. The next question is, what does a collection or personal library mean to me? Okay, I consider what I have a personal library, I guess, because it is quite a few books. But I also do consider it a collection of books because that is what I collect, books, right? And I have to admit, part of me is a little hesitant to use the word library. I think it sounds a little wanky, but the truth is I have named one of the rooms in my home my library. So I guess the terms are really interchangeable. It isn't a rare collection of books or expensive collection of books, but this is my collection of books. Also within my library as such, I do collect certain things, generally authors. Yeah, if I love an author, I tend to buy all of their books, generally. In addition, I would say I also have a collection of fantasy books because that is the predominant genre that I read. I guess you could also say I have a very small collection of certain art books because I do love art, but they're not really large collections. It's only a few select books. I think generally though, I like the term library because it kind of encompasses everything that I own rather than just say some collection of books. Next question. What is my personal library for? It's for me. Yeah, I think that goes without saying, right? It is for me to be able to wander my shelves until I find something that I want to read. It is also for me to be able to have easy access to a book when I'm in the mood for it. I don't want to have to go running off to the library or to a bookshop. It is also for sharing with friends and family, though I'm very selective who I do give books to or lend books to because I've had too many disappear and not come back to me. Things that I can't sometimes replace. My personal library is also because I just love being surrounded by books. I love the feeling of coziness, of serenity. And I have to admit, whenever I do visit people and they don't have any books, I'm like, oh, something's missing. That's how I feel anyway. Though I know it's not to everyone's taste. For me, yeah, books have been a part of my life for such a long time that if I don't have books in my home, it just would feel unnatural. It would feel wrong. I love looking at them too, not just reading them, but just seeing this riot of colour on my shelves. I love that. So perhaps part of it is also nostalgic. Perhaps part of it is also Whenever I am in the mood for a book, I am sure to find something that I want to read and that I will just get lost in. Yeah, there's nothing better than that, if you ask me. As for after I die, who knows? And really, it doesn't matter. Hopefully, somebody in my family will want them and they can have them all, or as many as they want. Next question. Where is my personal library? Is it contained in a single room or spread throughout? It is spread throughout. Yeah, it is in 4 rooms in my house, and my house is not very big. I had all my bookcases custom made about 12 years ago, but at the time I was living somewhere else, and I had several bookcases in one room in my study, though I still had bookcases elsewhere. But in this home, this large one, for example, it could only fit on this wall, which I don't mind. It is in my living room. It just adds so much to my home, I think. I also have several bookcases in my study as well as in the library, and I have another one in my bedroom. So yeah, they're pretty much everywhere. And like I said, stacks of books everywhere as well. Next question is, how many books make up my collection? Good question. I've done a very, very rough count. I would say it is anywhere between 1,500 and 2,000. It could even be more than 2, I'm not sure. I'm actually in the process of cataloguing them all, which will then give me a precise figure, but at this point it's just a rough estimate. Okay, next question is, how do I organise my library? Okay, I separate hardcovers and trade paperbacks from paperbacks. All my bookcases have been custom made, and prior to getting these made, every bookcase I had seemed to have a lot of wasted space. So I measured how tall hardcovers and trade paperbacks are, and I had this one made to fit all my hardcovers and trade paperbacks. So you can see there's not a lot of wasted space. I found that by getting these custom made, I ended up with an extra shelf on each unit, which means more books. So all my hardcovers and trade paperbacks, because they're an equal height, live on these shelves. Now I'll show you my paperbacks. And this is my paperback collection. They used to be on the bookshelves that I'm facing, which are joined. There are 2 of them. But I ran out of room, so I moved them to these because there's more room on these. This is all the paperbacks I have, except for another bookcase that I have in my bedroom, which is all the romances I was collecting when I was younger. And I also have 2 more bookcases in my study, which has mainly reference books, and only recently I moved all my classics to one of the bookcases. So yeah, I have books in almost every room in my house, except for the bathrooms and kitchen. I sort all my books alphabetically by the surname of the author. I don't separate them based on genre or anything like that. My brother used to make fun of me all the time for having them sorted alphabetically, but when you have so many books, it's the only way I can find anything. It makes it a lot easier, I think, for me. So I generally sort by author, and if they have series of books, I will then sort them by series. The next question is, do you keep track of your library? And if so, how? Okay. I used to catalogue them all many, many years ago when I had much less. I used to have cards for each book. And I have been looking for a computer program that I can use to catalogue them all. I have catalogued all my movies and TV shows, for example, and I have all my ebooks catalogued. I use Calibre, a free software program for ebook management, which I just love. And I thought maybe I can use Calibre to combine both the physical books I have as well as the e-books. It is a brilliant program because it does allow you to download all the metadata on a book, even though you may not get the ISBN right. But that doesn't concern me. What I really want is a list of every single book that I've got. And that's why I thought this may be the best way. I started actually cataloguing everything a couple of years ago, several years ago now, and I got bored, so I stopped. But I'm determined to finish the cataloguing sometime this year. It's not ideal, but if I can have a complete list of all the books I own, that is more than enough for me. Next question, how do I decide to add a book to my library? I see it, I buy it. Yeah, though that isn't quite true. If I want to read a book, I will generally buy it. If it is on special and it is an author that I'm looking to read, I will buy it. If it's one of my favorite authors, I will just buy the book straight out, but it is whatever I want to read. That's how I add to my collection. I don't put a budget on myself, though if I've noticed I have been buying a lot of books, then I'll slow down for a little, only a little, and then buy some more. As far as I'm concerned, if it doesn't put me in financial difficulties, then I can buy the book. I also won't buy some books until they come down in price, because some of the hardcovers in Australia are really expensive, which I understand why, but yeah, I'm not going to spend $60 or $70 on one book, whereas if I wait a little while, it might come down in price. So the cost of the book is another factor that I take into account. Okay, this next question made me laugh. When you decide to cull your collection, how do you decide what stays and what goes? Yeah, I don't know, because I have not ever been able to cull my book collection. I am notorious actually for never getting rid of books, even those I despise. So I have no idea. But the truth is, I would like to do a bit of culling. I have books that I hate. Yeah, I'm sorry, but I do. Or that I know I will never read again. And I have no interest in keeping. But it's really hard for me to get rid of them. It's hard to let them go. Truthfully though, certain books, which I really did hate, those should go. They shouldn't be on my shelves anymore. But it's like, but, yeah, it is just, who knows, maybe one day I'll want to read it again. The truth is though, I won't, and I know I won't. And because I have run out of room in the past, I feel it's a good idea to cull some of the books in my collection so that I can make space for books that I do want. And after watching a few unhauling videos or book culling videos, I did take a few off my shelves, I think around 10 or 15, but I wasn't quite ready to get rid of them, so they're sitting on another shelf to allow me to think about whether I'm willing to let them go. Yeah, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your view, I have rearranged quite a few things on my bookshelves. I had two major ones that had all DVDs. I packed all those away, so now I have 2 extra shelves for books. Yeah, so part of me doesn't want to get rid of anything until I run out of room. I'm always interrupted when I'm in the middle of recording. I had 2 people knocking on my door today. Okay, I was talking about culling. My aim, and I make no promises that I will fulfill this, is to try to cull some of the books in my collection. Books that I really don't want, that I really hate. As to how I'm going to cull them, I'm not sure. Some I might try to sell because they weren't very cheap to begin with. Others I might donate to local charities. I also have this huge collection of romances, particularly the old Mills and Boons. I think they call them Harlequin romances now. I was collecting them in my teens and in my early 20s. And because I can't get rid of books, I've still got them, though I don't read them. I have maybe a handful that I like, the rest really can go. So it'd be nice if I could find a new home for those as well. Perhaps somebody else will enjoy them, because honestly, they're just gathering dust at the moment. Share the love, right? So hopefully I will be able to cull some books this year. Hopefully. Okay, next question. Does my library have books I haven't read, may not read? Definitely, yeah. I would say I have read probably 80%, maybe a bit more, maybe a bit less. It could even be 90%, I just don't know. But most of the books on my shelves I have read, though I have quite a few that I haven't. And leading off from that is, what do I think of a 0 TBR, to be read? In other words, how do I feel about reading every single book on my shelves? Not interested, no. Only once in my life when I was a teenager did I read absolutely everything in our home. I hated it because I had nothing new to read. Now, I do love rereading books, but sometimes you want something new, which is why I am quite comfortable with having books on my shelves that I haven't read. Because I do think I might be a mood reader. It will depend very much what kind of mood I'm in as to what book I will read. Sometimes I can pick up, say, 3 or 4 books, read a bit and feel, no, I don't really want to read that. If I've read everything that I own, then I may not be able to find something that will pique my interest. Whereas one of the things I love doing is just walking around my shelves and thinking, oh, I haven't read that one, or oh, I wouldn't mind rereading that one. It just gives me so much more choices. So no, I don't think I'll ever strive for a 0 TBR. Last question. How do I feel about my library? I love it. Yeah, that doesn't even go halfway to describing how I feel about it. It is something I am very passionate about because it is a reminder of the thousands and thousands of hours of joy that my books have given me over the years. I love feeling surrounded by them. They just give me this amazing sense of serenity and coziness and warmth. And they're also a reminder of my childhood, of how many hours I have spent losing myself in books, learning new things. Because I think that is the strongest emotion that books evoke in me, and that is joy. I love my library. I could never part from it. No, I don't think I ever could. And I was actually talking to a couple of my cousins who were saying how much they regretted that they did sell off their books and that they wish now that they had kept them. And I get that because for me, they're such a big part of my life. I also think it is a reflection of me, the kind of person I am, how much I love to learn new things. Plus, I love looking at them. Yeah, I really do. I'm one of these people that if I visit your home and you have a bookcase, you will lose me for an hour or so while I look at all the books on your shelves. I just love looking at books. So it means a lot to me. Have I got too many? I don't think so. No, I really don't. I don't think there's ever enough books. There's always more that I want to add. Well, that is all the questions in this tag. Again, my thanks to Shelly Swearingen for making this tag. I'm not actually going to tag anyone, but please, if you have a YouTube channel and a library, I would love to see your video on it. Well, that is all I have for you guys today. I really hope you enjoyed seeing and learning a bit more about my library. I'd love to hear if you have a personal library and what you love about it. And you can let me know down in the comments, or you can contact me on Instagram. Thank you all so very much for hanging out with me. I really do appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, then you can do the usual. You can like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. I hope you all have a beautiful day, and I will see you next time. Bye.